Hello, this is Rusty Williamson. Today we'll be having some fun creating this cool fiery mushroom cloud. Pretty cool. All right, we'll get started. We'll do File, New Project. And we'll create a new composition. (1920 by 1080), 30 frames per second, 4 seconds is okay. Say okay. And we'll create a new solid. And we'll call this T space part, which stands for top particles. We'll add the effect CC Particle World. We'll set the birth rate at 3.7 and we'll set the longevity to 0.3. We'll open up the producer, and I'll tell you what, let's advance the time frame so we can sort of see it. And we'll up the Y position of the producer. Whoops. A negative 0.03 would be good. Close the producer and open up the physics. We'll set, let's see, what will we do here? We'll take the gravity and set it to 0.14. Close the physics, open the particle properties, and set the particle type. We'll change it from line to faded sphere. We'll set the birth size to 1.7, and we'll set the death size to 2.5. Let's see what we have. Good. All right. We'll grab the layer, and with the cursor at frame 0, we'll slide it over until the particles are fully engaged. And then we'll go to the end and drag it over to the end of the comp. All right. Put it at frame 0. Now we'll add the effect liquefy. Oops. We'll select the push tool. We'll open up the warp tool options and increase the brush size. About 290. And we'll push our particles outward on the sides evenly if we can. like so. We'll push up the bottom. And we'll push down the top a little. We'll come to the bottom and push it up just a little in the middle. Something like that. Now let's see what we have. That's more or less just what we want. Okay, we'll select the layer, pre-compose it, and we'll call it T-part for top particle. We'll move all attributes to the new comp and click OK. We'll go back to our comp 1 and create a new layer, a new solid. And we'll call this one S part for stem particles. We'll add the effect CC particle world and solo the layer. Advance it so we can see what we're doing. And we will go to the producer and lower the Y position until it's at the bottom. Then we'll go to the physics and change explosive to fire. We'll set the velocity to 0. Okay. We'll go down to the particle properties and change it from line to faded sphere. And then we'll up the birth rate until it's solid at the bottom. And then we'll up the death rate till it's solid at the top. Let's see what we've got. Okay. The death rate needs to go up a little. Let's see what this looks like. That should be good. We'll go back up to the physics and make sure we have the particles fully engaged. And we'll lower the gravity until the particle stream comes down to about the halfway point. Now let's look. Alright. Once again, we'll put the cursor at frame 0. We'll grab our S part particles and drag them over until the particles are fully engaged. Then we'll come to the end and stretch it out to the end of the comp. Alright, now we'll add the effect Bezier warp. We'll move these handles out a little bit. Move these handles in. We want to thin it out. Just want to shape it a little bit. All right. With the S particle layer selected, pre-comp it and call it S part for S for stem particle. Move all attributes to the new composition, click OK, and go back to the comp one. Drag the S part down below the T part and unsolo it. Now let's look at what we've got. It's starting to get there. Let me go back to the top particle. Take a look at something. That'll be okay. Okay, so we go back to comp 1 and select the T particle layer and then create a new solid and call this T noise for top noise. Say OK. Then add the effect Fractal Noise. We'll change the fractal type from basic to dynamic progressive. We'll up the contrast a little bit, maybe to 145, and we'll down brightness to maybe a -5. Okay, we'll open up the transform properties. And we will alt-click on the offset turbulence and enter the expression open bracket 0, comma time times 1000, close bracket. Then we'll alt-click on the evolution and enter time times 350. Let's see what we've got. Okay, that looks pretty good. All right. Now we'll add the effect. Whoops. Grab a layer. We'll add the effect Bezier warp. We'll take the top ones and drag them straight inward toward the center. And we'll take these guys and swing them way out. And these as well. Finally, we'll take the bottom ones and drag them straight out. Now let's see what we've got. Looks good. Now we'll create another solid. Oops. And we'll call this one S noise for stem noise. We'll add the effect Fractal Noise. Change it again from fractal type, change it from basic to dynamic progressive. Up the contrast a little bit, down the brightness a little bit, maybe like so. Go into the transform properties and unclick the uniform scaling, and then scale down the width. Something like that. Maybe down to 30. Alt-click the offset turbulence and enter open bracket 0, comma, time times a negative 1800, close bracket. Whoops. Then alt-click on the evolution, and once again enter time times 350. Let's see what we've got. Whoops. That's interesting. Oh. Somehow I moved the layer over. Okay. Now we're back in sync. Looks good. Now we want to select the T noise, the top noise layer, and pre-compose it. I'll just call it T noise. Move all attributes. And now let's go back to our comp 1, select our S noise, and do the same thing. Recompose it, call it S noise. Move all attributes, say OK. Now go back to our comp 1. We want to move our S noise layer down to the very bottom. And we want to move our T noise layer below the T part layer. So you should have T part, T noise, S part, S noise. I want to look at the T noise again. Okay, we can come back to that. That's why these are all laid out like this, so we can come back and adjust them. All right, back in our comp 1. We want to make sure that we're showing the track mask, the track map, by clicking on the switches. And we want to go down to our S noise layer and change the track mat to alpha mat S part. Then we want to do the same thing with our T noise, alpha mat T part. Now let's see what we've got. All right, it's looking pretty good. I think we need to go to our stem part. And bring it in a little. It's a little too thick. Let's see what that looks like. All right, we're getting there. Alright, the next thing we need to do is take our T-part and T-noise layers, select them, and pre-compose them, and just call this top. Come back to our comp 1 and do the same for our S part and S noise. Recompose them. Call this stem. Now let's go back to our comp. Alright, what we want to do now is duplicate our top layer, rename this layer bottom, move it down below the top layer, and solo it. It's going through and doing a little cleanup. And a lot of solo layers on. Alright, now that little goof up is corrected, we want to solo the bottom layer, and we want to add the effect Bezier warp. I want to take our two here and slide them inward to the center. And we want to take these and move them out. Actually, I changed my mind. Move those in. We'll try something different. We can always come back and adjust this. Move these out. And move these up. Alright, until you have something like this. Then hit S for scale, unlock scale, and scale it down on the vertical. Now hit P for position and bring this down to the bottom. Now I want you to right click on the layer and go to time reverse layer. Alright, let's go to the beginning, unsolo the layer, and see what we've got. Coming along pretty good. bring it over this way more. Bring it down a bit. Just adjust it till it looks good down at the bottom. By reversing it, now we've got the direction going up on this, flowing into this upflowing thing, which comes up and wraps around like this. So let's see what we've got. All right. Now what we want to do is select all these layers, recompose them, and we'll just call this base. We'll come back to comp 1. Now we'll add the effect Color Vibrance, which is a free effect from Video Copilot. This is just to color it. You could also use CC Toner. And we'll just select a fiery color. There's nothing fancy here. Just something that looks really fiery. Then we'll add an adjustment layer. And we'll add the effect Time Warp. And we'll change the speed from 50 to 5. Now let's see what we've got. Alright, that looks pretty good. I hope you have enjoyed this tutorial. If you have any questions, please post them in the comments below. If you liked this tutorial or learned anything, please give it a like. Thanks a lot. Until the next one.